In the earliest days when we first started this business, we saw that people would write in and say, look, I just sold the data packet for $20. I'm from South Africa. I have been able to feed my family of four for the next 2 weeks. And at that moment, we knew we had something really special. We knew we were actually making an impact. It wasn't outside of the data and the knowledge thing, but moving people out of states of economic despair, because now there was a new asset for them to annuitize, something that they had in droves. And they were creating it all the time, but now there was an unlock for it. And so for us, spreading the word and, people joining Tartle, by the way, it costs nothing. It's free to join Tartle. We'll never charge you anything for it. When they hear about the success stories of others, they're very apt to doing it. And I know there's too many people on it, but there's almost 10 billion on this planet. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is building trust, because so much of that trust has been damaged from other companies through the abuse of these processes.
Yeah.
And so, like, why is it that people would say, oh, I'm going to put my data into Tartle. It's going to be one more company that's going to, probably turn against me. So we had to make sure from the foundation, Tartle had no access to it. We couldn't control it, do any of those things. Our whole impetus, philosophically, technologically, patent-based, supported by the US government, we had to make sure that everything aligned and nothing was hypocritical. And our whole goal is to continue to drive that value back to the consumer. And if we can do that, both parties win. And it creates a very balanced system taking that approach. And so that artificial intelligence, these companies, these products or services you use, the more you interact with them using something like Tartle, they become more personal. They become more timely. They become more valuable when you're actually engaging with that tech. But the fundamental basis of all that technology comes down to the data. So the more you share or choose to share, the better outcomes you're going to see from engaging with those groups, from engaging with that new app or website. And that's what's being built over time. So for us getting the word out, it is leaning into those really big winners.
Well, when you think about companies like Clear, right,
Mm-hmm.
who are getting very specific data because people like the convenience of cutting in line at the airport.
Yeah.
Again, convenience, and what's the real cost of that for that convenience? Well, you've just given away some pretty personal data.
Mm-hmm.
And what are we going to do with that besides let you cut?
Yeah. You don't really know what you're giving up. So Clear sits on top of something called the Trinsic network. You heard of this?
No.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Trinsic is an identity management network, and Clear is a part of it. It's just a larger framework of about 100 million identities that they sit on top of. But again, what it is it's a storage record of this personal information. But the only benefit people got from it, like you said, was the ability to skip a line. I mean, I know it also sounds great at Disney World, but you'd be surprised how much data Disney's actually collecting on you.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. It's really a psychological study, the entire thing. And that's where they get a good control mechanism. And I'm not to fearmonger here, but we need to recognize where there's aspects of us, being controlled, how we're sharing these things and how these systems are developing. And do we want to take a stance for the development of those systems? Do you want to be responsible enough for it? And the cool part is you can be responsible and financially benefit from it at the same time. When most of the times the thing in the world, it's like, well, if I'm going to be responsible, it's not really financially lucrative for me. Well, those days are over. Now you can actually marry both of those universes together. And that's what we see with technologies like Tartle.